Good morning everybody, this is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. It is August the 23rd and we're looking at Psalm 122 and 123. Now we're going to read through the psalm straight away, and I'm going to talk about my password, and then I'm going to read my commentary that's attached to the psalm, because there's a lot in this psalm that I want us to sort of get to know about a little bit more. So let's read it together. Psalm 121. Now the first psalm is a song of decrees of David, and it's David speaking about Jerusalem as a city. He even speaks to the city, which we might find a bit strange, but there we are. He says, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord. Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem is builded as a city that is compact together, whither the tribes go up, the tribes of the Lord, unto the testimony of Israel, to give thanks unto the name of the Lord. For there are set thrones of judgment, the thrones of the house of David. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love thee. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. For my brethren and companions' sake, I will now say, peace be within thee. Because of the house of the Lord our God, I will seek thy good. So David is speaking about the city, and about the inhabitants, and about the thrones of judgment, and so on. And he's saying how good it is to go up into the house of the Lord. Of course, in David's day, it was the tabernacle, that was the house of the Lord. And he goes up there to worship. And he goes up there that sacrifice might be made, because it is in sacrifice that restoration comes. And the restoration that comes is the shalom, it is the peace which Israel knew when their sins were covered. Now let's look at the next psalm. These aren't big psalms. He says, Psalm 123, this is a prayer for mercy, it's a song of degrees. Unto thee lift I up my eyes, O thou that dwellest in the heavens. Behold, as the eyes of servants look unto the hand of their masters, and as the eyes of a maiden unto the hand of her mistress, so our eyes wait upon the Lord our God, until he have mercy upon us. Isn't that wonderful? By the way, that isn't something that a Christian ever prays. Because he says, I will lift up my eyes unto the lift up my eyes, O thou that dwellest in the heavens, and as the eyes of servants look at the hand of their masters, and as the eyes of a maiden unto the hand of her mistress, so our eyes wait upon the Lord our God until what? Until he will have mercy upon us. Now mercy is different to grace. Grace is the bestowal of God's blessings on the unworthy, but mercy is the withholding of his judgments on the unworthy. And what the song is saying is, God, take away your judgments upon your people, and I will look at your hands, I will look at what you do. Just like a servant looks at the hand of the master, and the eyes of a maiden upon the hand of her mistress, I will wait upon you. And so he says in verse 3, and that's my password by the way, and then he says in verse 3, have mercy upon us, O Lord, have mercy upon us, for we are exceedingly filled with contempt. You see, the contempt of the wicked had come upon the righteous. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease, and with the contempt of the proud. And so those that are contemptuous, those that are scorning, those that are proud against the righteous, well, the righteous look for the mercy of God. It hasn't come yet. They're still waiting. They're still calling upon the Lord for his mercy. Now I'm going to read the actual commentary, which I don't normally do. Let's read it together. Today we're reading two of the Psalms of the degrees, 122, 123. Previously we saw that these Psalms of the degrees refer to the life and service of Hezekiah the king. In Psalm 122, Isaiah takes a Psalm of David and brings it forward as an excellent psalm to sing in his present circumstances. In 2 Chronicles 32 verse 21 we read, "The Lord sent an angel which cut off all the mighty men of valour and the leaders and the captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. And so he returned with shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, they came forth of his bowels, slew him there with the sword. Thus the Lord saved Hezekiah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem from the hand of Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, and from the hand of all other, and guided them on every side, and brought many gifts unto the Lord to Jerusalem, and presents to Hezekiah king of Judah, so that he was magnified in the sight of all nations from thenceforth." Now in Psalm 129 we read, "The Lord is righteous, he will cut asunder the cords of the wicked, let them all be confounded and turned back that hate Zion." Now when Sennacherib came against Jerusalem, the Lord sent his angel and killed the mighty men of Sennacherib's army, and so Sennacherib returned to his own land, and when he went into his own temple to his God, his own children, in vengeance at the shame brought on Sennacherib, they took their father and murdered him. The nations round about were astounded, and they brought gifts to Hezekiah, and so Hezekiah's palace places this Psalm of David here because it expresses exactly how Hezekiah felt. David said, "I was glad when they said to me, 'Let us go into the house of the Lord, because our feet will stand in the gates of Jerusalem.'" David thanks God for saving his life from his enemies. David was only king while he lived, and it was absolutely essential that the Lord kept him safe from death. David says the city of Jerusalem is a crowded city when all the tribes go up to stand before the testimonies, that is, the law, and to give thanks to the name of the Lord. The reason for this is that there were thrones of judgment set there, thrones for the house of David, and David rejoiced that justice was found in Jerusalem and that his royal throne was set there. David says, "Pray for the peace of the city of peace, because those that love the Lord will prosper there." David says, "May there be peace within the walls of the city and prosperity in the palaces." Then David asked God's blessing of peace on his brethren. There's nothing wrong with a kingship that seeks the prosperity of his brethren and companions. Psalm 123 says this, is the prayer of Hezekiah. He says in Isaiah 38 verse 1, "In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death, and Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live." Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord and said, "Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and done that which is good in thy sight." And Hezekiah wept sore. Now let me just stop a moment. What did Hezekiah claim? Did he call upon the grace of God? No, he didn't. You see, here was a man under law, and he comes before the Lord. He says, "I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight." This is what living under the law is. It's nothing to do with grace, anything to do with being a Christian. This is actually righteousness according to law. And when a man lives righteously before the Lord his God in the old covenant, God rewards them. And what does he reward them with? He rewards them with a long life, and in Hezekiah's case, a longer life. And I said, "In the cutting off of my days I shall go to the gates of the grave. I am deprived of the residue of my years. I said, I shall not see the Lord." even the Lord in the land of the living. I shall behold man no more with the inhabitants of the world. Mine age is departed, and is removed from me as a shepherd's tent. I have cut off like a weaver my life. He will cut me off with pining sickness. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. I reckoned till the morning, that as a lion so will he break all my bones. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. Like a crane or a swallow, so did I chatter. I did mourn as a dove. My eyes fail with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What shall I say? He hath both spoken unto me, and himself hath done it, and I shall go softly all my years in the bitterness of my soul. O Lord, by these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my spirit. So wilt thou recover me and make me to live. Behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption. For thou hast cast all my sins behind my back. For the grave cannot praise thee, death cannot celebrate thee. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. The living he shall praise thee, as I do this day. The father to the children shall make known thy truth. The Lord was ready to save me. Therefore we will sing my songs to the stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. And that's the key verse, verse 20. The Lord was ready to save me. Therefore we will sing my songs to the stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. So all around was dark and hopeless. The enemy was coming to destroy the city, and Hezekiah was sick and approaching death, and he had no heir. He had been faithful to the Lord all his life, and now his life is to be taken away. He turns over on his bed, he weeps and prays. Lord, I'm going to pray to you, who dwells in the heavens. Look on me as a servant looks on his master. We are looking to you. Look on us. Have mercy on us. Have mercy, because we are very greatly despised by our enemies. Our enemies are arrogant and powerful, and they are not troubled by any cares. Now this prayer is not a prayer telling God what to do or asking what to do. It's simply saying, we are looking to you. Please look on us. Wow. What a man. Well, there we are. My thought for the day is there, and I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.